I just sent it out just a few minutes ago on Twitter. So if you guys want to forward that for us, that'd be awesome. But the bottom line is we have a wet vacuum system that it sprays the solution down and vacuums up DNA. And so what we just put the press release out on is, did you guys see Dateline? Does anybody watch Dateline around here? No? Okay. All right. Well, I'm done. Okay. All right. But the key is, you know, DNA, if you guys are into any kind of crime scene shows, you know that DNA is really important. That's the Green River Killer. He was like a mass murderer. He was caught eventually because of his DNA. So it's a major deal. The problem with DNA is it's really small, and so it's hard to detect and it's hard to find, and that's why our system comes in. So imagine trying to sweep up something off of your couch, like a stain, you know, a chocolate milk stain on your couch, versus actually using a carpet cleaner. And that's kind of the an analogy there that works. There was one murder case from a while back where a victim was raped and murdered and thrown into a body of water, which degrades the DNA, and so it's almost impossible to get it off. And that was one of the very first cases where the M-Vac actually collected enough to get a profile and move that case forward. So that was kind of how we knew we had something special. The way it works is literally, like I said, it's just like a carpet cleaner. It sprays the solution down and vacuums it up. So how does that help? You know, you guys probably aren't too interested in that slide, so I'm going to go to this. This is where it starts getting really cool. We've been on an episode of CSI. We've been in all sorts of national magazines like Evidence Technology and Forensics Magazine. But just last Friday, I know you guys don't care because you don't watch it, but we were on Dateline. If there's an episode, you can actually go onto the NBC Dateline website and watch this episode. And it highlighted a 15-year-old girl got murdered in Draper, and she was right by the Jordan River. You guys may have seen the news about that, but this happened like in 2012, I think. And so all the investigation happened. It took over 2 years, and that it's called The Girl with the Red Shoe. It's a really cool case, but it also highlights how difficult it is to solve some of these crimes. But in the episode, M-Vac was highlighted. They used our system to sample. Let's see. Let me show you. Yeah, sample her shoes as well as his shoes for her blood, her pants, and her shirt, and especially off of the touch DNA, which is pretty amazing. And like if I grab your shirt sleeve, I've left DNA from my hand. You can vacuum that up and get your profile. So the key is because they'll get you. Anyway, this was the case that Chris was talking about, the Crystal Bizlanowicz case. This actually goes to trial in September, so you'll probably start seeing. Well, if you watch the news and you're into crime stuff, which you guys aren't. So, but this was the case. It was a 18 years old cold case, and that's a river rock out of the Provo River, and that's what was used to bludgeon the girl. And the M-Vac got his touch DNA off that rock. So that was a pretty cool case too. And that's the guy on the right-hand side. Actually went up to it's like an administrative hearing about where the venue is going to be. I actually saw this guy. So I've been talking about him for 3 years, and I finally saw him, and he's just an evil-looking dude. But he's going down for murder one. So, but just to let you know, not everything's all peachy keen. We actually try to crowdfunding, and it's still up, but I think we've kind of abandoned ship on it because it's the right format. But we try to Indiegogo campaign to try to raise funds, because we've had all these agencies come to us and say, hey, you know, we'd love to try the M-Vac. We just can't, you know, we can't afford to buy one right now. We have tons of cases, but you'd be amazed at how underfunded police agencies and crime labs are. And it's because nobody pays attention to it until you need it. You know, but if something tragic happens to your family, all of a sudden you're like, hey, why aren't you using the best tools? Why didn't the police respond within 10 seconds? You know, those kind of things. Well, it's because they're unfunded. So But we tried this, and like I said, it's still up there. So if you guys have tons of cash laying around, go ahead and donate. But that's just to let you know that M-Vac Systems, we're a small company. We're a big splash in a really, really big pond, but we're still a small company, and we're still, trudging along like everybody else is. So, all right, any questions? Yes, sir.
So it's super expensive for these police departments to purchase one of your units, but have you thought about being able to rent it out to different departments or something like that, kind of a lower barrier to entry?
We have a leasing program, but the thing is, in order for us to ship it out there, go out there and train them, be able to, the cost of the consumables, it's about between a fifth and a quarter of the cost of buying the system. And so,
right.
And most agencies, they have 3, 4, 5 cases, especially over the years. And so most of them just elect to just buy it. But again, it still takes that. So we do, yes, the answer is yes. And there's other police agencies that own one, like West Jordan Police Department. They own a system, and so they help a lot of other agencies. That happens quite a bit, but it's amazing when you actually look at the costs to resurrect just any cold case. That's like to pull it off the shelf, open up the box, review the files, and actually do anything with it costs about $35,000. And so, and that's an FBI staff. So, processing a murder case actually can run up into the millions. You guys familiar with Casey Anthony? That case in Florida where, anyway, that case ran up to $6-7 million.
Wow.
So it costs them a lot of money. It's a good question though. Yeah, we do everything we can to help these guys, including donate. Like there's a cold case society that we help consult with a lot. We've donated a system and lots of consumables to them, but we can't do that very often. So, yeah. Anything else? Yes, sir.
What was the goal of the Indiegogo? Because it feels like Indiegogo is, crowdsourcing. You're trying to hit a wide demographic of people that would potentially be interested in your product, but it feels like your product's very targeted to people that need that forensic work.
Right.
So to me, it seems like there's a little disconnect, but I'm curious, what was the goal? And
well, the goal was to raise some funds so that we could donate more systems and supplies to agencies that had a cold case that wanted to work it, or to like innocence projects,
okay.
where they're doing work to help free somebody. A lot of that is based on DNA.
Okay.
Cold case societies, things like that.
Gotcha.
You're right. There is a disconnect, which is why it's failing miserably, I think. But the key was we just gave it a shot. We just said, if there's enough people out there, especially we had one lady that said she wants to buy one for a particular police department in California, and that was going to be half of it. But that's kind of struggling along. So anyway, yeah.
There's a couple of these kind of cold case shows and podcasts that are super popular, like that Netflix Making a Murderer or the podcast Serial. Have you thought about trying to work with them at all? Or it just seems like maybe I don't know of an opportunity, but maybe there's something there where you could get a lot of good publicity.
There's some of them that we are working through through crime labs, like Cold Justice. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cold Justice. Do any of you watch any of the crime shows? No? Okay. Well, all right. But Cold Justice, they work through Sorensen Forensics, and Sorensen Forensics owns a system. And so kind of through that way, we're actually on the show. So and we're also working to get the system on NCIS. Like I said, it was on an episode of CSI. So there's other ways you guys can watch us. So you don't care. Yes, sir.
Do you foresee costs going down in the future? Maybe you have a lot of more orders or whatever, where you can get a more reasonable price for more people to purchase it?
They eventually the cost of the consumables, we can bring those down. You know, it's an injection molded, basically consumable. And so when we get up into the hundreds of thousands and maybe in the millions, then it'll come down a bit. So much the barrier, the initial purchase as it is just the time frame. It's like about a 1.5 to 2 year sales cycle. And so, because a lot of get it through, put it on their own budget, which has to go all the way up to things like that. And, you know, and so city councils, of course, they're the very first budgets they slash. Why, you know, I don't know. But then there's government grants that they can get it on. Those, they have to budget way before those. So that's kind of where we're at. I hope that answered your question. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Why don't you do a model more similar to like blood work? Like every doctor can't process their own blood samples, but just make all your. So it seems like people who buy your unit and then sell the service to other people are really probably making more money than you even, and taking less risk. But just keep all your technology proprietary. You're the only one who has it, and then people send you their samples.
I understand what you're saying. They're like West Jordan Police Department. They're not making any money. The service to small, like they help Draper PD. I was just talking about. That would work with the exception that we would have to become an ASCLD and ISO certified lab, plus for everybody to send all their evidence to us and we actually do the service. Then I'm injecting myself into the case, and I'd spend more time on the stand in front of juries than I would actually selling it. I'm not really interested in doing that. So I don't know if that makes sense. It's because you're injecting yourself into the case by actually doing the sampling like what you're talking about. There's all sorts of legal ramifications and all sorts of issues with that, and we just don't want to do that. We just want to sell the equipment. I saw a couple of hands. Yes, sir.
So if I understand your model right, you make money when you sell the equipment up front, but then you also make they use it because there's consumable aspects in the unit?
Yes. So there's a razor and a razor blade. Yes. And our goal is obviously to get hundreds and hundreds of units out there, and if they only use it once a month, then there's still enough consumables. So yes, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Where does the name come from, and how is it connected to what the product is?
M-Vac. Interesting thing is, okay, I got to be done. So last question. It started out actually as a food safety, so detecting or collecting like bacteria and E. coli and stuff, and it works amazingly well. But the food industry doesn't want it; it's too sensitive. So the moral of that is cook your food. But microbial so it started out as microbial vac, and so that didn't make sense. But M-Vac had already had a pretty good name recognition, so we just showed it. So okay, I guess we're done, right?
Last question. What can we do with the 1 million?
Right there, man. Share our story. Help us get it out there. Like I said, go over campaign, and there's still a lot of money hanging out there. If that's something you can donate $1 to, and but you know, we're a small company, so we're always looking for financial partners, and you know, but the key is right now we're on the cusp of it really going big. We got China, and we got all sorts of international markets that are really kind of getting going. So, but that's the thing is, the more people know about it, the more people and the success stories and things that get out there, the more people are saying, hey, you know, why doesn't LAPD have an M-Vac kind of thing? So, thanks.
Guys, can you put minimal DNA on the chairs, please? Just kidding. It's crazy. The first time we presented, it was, and I know there's probably more people that stay up about midnight, flipping through. They see like 48 hours. You guys just shot. I'm gonna open you up a little bit. Just raise your hands. Who's here for the first time? Welcome. We'll do a sampling. How'd you hear about us?
I've been here.
Cool. Your cousin's a cool guy. Awesome. Appreciate you coming. How'd you hear about us? Awesome, cool guy. Very cool guy. Yes. Cool. Appreciate you guys coming. Bring some friends. We have breakfast this year every time, and then each month we have a different sponsor, and so it's kind of a fun. It's not always the same spread. It kind of varies. And so we appreciate you guys coming. So we got home advantage, 5 minutes.
Sorry for the football team. It is just insane out there what people are willing to do for their college football team. We can see with the playoff that is just, there's a lot of people following it. There's a lot of backing increase. As you can see at the stadium at Michigan, people just go crazy over it. And I've come up with the idea of putting college flags all over the nation to set up on game days so that everyone can show their support for their team. And so how does it work? I go in and I'll insert a little PVC sleeve, and so it's just easy to slide in a flag in and out, and then you have flags that are lining the street. This is pulled from my website. It's 3 simple steps. People go to the website, they'll pick the school that I have currently. I'm in Oregon, Boise State, and Nebraska. And so we're targeting, so they can go pick one of those 3 schools. Then we'll have an employee go install it, and then they have a flag in their yard every game day to show that they love their college football team. So last fall I started in Nebraska. So I just went and spent a couple weekends in Nebraska trying to see what demand there was for it, if people were willing to pay for it. And so I started off by just focusing on residential, I partnered up with a high school booster club who kind of pushed this through their boosters to raise money for their high school. So I charged $75 to set up 1 flag every week, $99 for 2 flags. So it went. A few pictures of the flags that we had set up. We ended up having 30 people come in, and we set that up for them, which was good. But it wasn't what I was hoping, what I was envisioning to jump on. So, the saying, if a plan doesn't work, 2 days before the BYU-Nebraska game is kind of ironic that the first town I was in setting up flags was against BYU. So I was kind of driving around, and I just saw this car dealership, and they're called Husker Auto. So I just walked in, I was like, hey, I have a ton of flags. Do you want me to set them up for you? They loved the idea, charged them $5 per flag per game, and they loved it. They ended up buying 35 flags that I set up each week. So then that kind of changed the model of what I'm going after this year, is I'm really going to focus on businesses in each city and really getting them to do it. So that's kind of where we're at now. We just started, but this is really the telling year where we'll see how much growth we continue doing this and see if there's the money involved that we believe there is. So like I said, last year we started in Nebraska, and this is kind of just the goal of 2 different schools. Each year we just want to keep going and just more schools, more high schools, just kind of getting involved in the communities of each place that we go. So financials, a little bit about kind of what we're doing there. We have expenses, the revenue, and so with 1 school, if we can get 1,500 flags set up, obviously a couple years down the road, we want to get really involved with the high school ships. To every 150 flags that we get set up, we're going to give $1,000. So we really want to get involved with everyone. And so, but the goal is, so once we get to 25 schools, setting up 1,500 flags, we're $1 million company. Sounds great, doesn't it? So the way to get there is obviously through, and flags last year to the 1,500 flags that I want to do. Obviously going to be a huge There's ways to do it. First of all, I'm going to hire, so I'm working with Nebraska right now. The purpose will be in Nebraska each week. They're going to go out, they'll meet with them, they'll make the sale, and then we'll just continue to grow each year by bringing on interns to give them some experience in each city. Working with the high school booster clubs. This is a great way to help the high schools get some money. Their students have the potential for scholarships, and it's just a new fundraising way. Everyone has the little food cards and all those things, but this is kind of new, it's unique. People really enjoyed it in Nebraska, and so I think once we get a little bit of momentum going, I think it could really pick up if it picks up in a neighborhood or a city. It's really cool when you're driving down a line the whole street, and with people loving their football team as much as they do. When they see that, they're really pairing up with just the actual high school athletic teams. They can go out and make the sales to their neighbors, their friends, and again, they can try to get scholarships. And then the last thing is I can always pick up the phone and start calling these businesses, these companies to try to make those sales. And so that's kind of the process of how we're going to get it to that point of trying to get as many sales as possible. And so here's kind of how the structure works is I'll hire a man, and then I'll have the employees that go and set up. Each employee is going to have a 50 flag route. So it'll take about an hour and a half to set it up, an hour and a half to bring it down. And so all the employees will report to the manager, and then the manager will report to me each week to make sure that all the flags got set up, everything. It's me and a friend that I have down, Morris. He's currently living, he just graduated from BYU. Lives there, something works for a startup there. He, and that little thing. Yes. Woo, there we go.
So how much is sales in this slide?
So sales, I have the revenue of the 1,500. That's 1,000 flags to do.
Is it worth all the efforts to have to do 25 different cities to break $1 million? Is there that much margin per year after you make the sales that it's worth the other 25 cities?
So I think kind of with how I want to go and slowly grow each year, you get it set up in the city, and then once it gets a good amount of people there, then it will kind of almost run on its own with interns and other things, and then I can move on to the next city and keep moving on. Does that answer your question? So that's the 1 million. Yeah. Okay, so my expenses for the cost of the flag storage scholarships, so 33, which makes for each school, if I can get 1,500 flags out, it's $46,000 per school. Yes.
Yeah, so it seems like big money. But my question is, if somebody else is going out and doing the exact same thing in your college,
Market is really going to help, but it's relatively low where someone is doing this at TCU. There's 3 TCU students. They've done this for 3 years, and they really haven't grown with it. Is that I'm going to multiple schools and this model, but if you just stay in one school, it's not worth the money that you're really going to tie into it. It's gotten from talking to other people, talking to people at TCU, each individual school, and they're not close to the 1,500 flags. Yes.
I'm just giving somebody got a lunch in a city
So I think building the strong relationships with the businesses and with the high schools where I'm giving back into the community and giving the scholarships and trying to really build into that way of just having the community wanting me there. That's kind of how I'm trying to be as involved as I can. Yeah.
So I love the idea with like fundraisers and community alliances. Have you thought about teaming up with, say, like the fan store or somebody that's already going to your interested demographic that you can just say, hey, let's rent share this, or this is the cost?
I haven't really thought too much. I talked to one store in Boise who sells flags and things, and they weren't really wanting to work with me too much because they want to sell the flags so they have them on their own.
So you buy the flags from them, then you take the service for the
cheaper than this kind of, so I wouldn't want to buy it from. Work out the right way of even having them push sales my way and then I give some back to them. I really like that.
Yeah, first of all, I love the idea as well. When you're presenting your updated model for your business, is it $5 a game?
So it's $5 per flag per game, and then they have to buy 5 flags for that to happen. So it's 7. So there's 7 home games.
Okay. If you think for a business, it'd be better just to go for the same rate, just maybe as a residential. Because for me, from a business, if I'm a car dealership, $100 for a year, I feel like that's a relatively easy sale, and you're going to be making money.
Yeah. So I kind of told him the price I was charging. She kind of got a little scared back then. I said, well, what if I do it for per game? And then that's when she was like, okay, that's the price I can. And so, like I said, it was kind of on the seat of my pants that I turned to businesses. I was driving down the street. It was 2 games before the 2 days, and I just jumped in, and that's what it came out to.
So it sounds like you're relying a lot on interns for your sales force. How, like, are you paying them? What?
Yeah, so commission.
Okay.
So a commission base, and then they will also be the ones who drive around and set the flags up. And then, and so yeah, we pay them pretty well to go and set the flags up because we want to get good people in there that are reliable, and then we give them a bonus.
Are there any legal regulations?
So I have found a supplier who has all of their licenses, and so once I buy the flags from them, they give money to the school. So it's taken that they're getting their money from when I first buy it from my supplier. Yeah, so I think a lot of it is, I don't know if the fans are as spirited here as they are around the country, and so and willing to pay the amount, and so that's why I really wanted to kind of start in Nebraska and go from there.
Well, you go here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's easier to sell. That's the most difficult thing is to sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a reason why you haven't expanded like a year-round model like basketball and baseball?
Too many games. So football, it's seven games that I set up. So there's 7 days that I have to worry about getting the flags set up, and that's kind of. So basketball is just too much, and it's winter. Baseball. Yeah, so the flag. I mean, the flags sell for $30 online, and so where each service I'm gonna make $75 or $50 per flag, and that's every year. So the potential to make more money is off of the annual thing instead of just selling it one time. Yeah, I think okay, one more, and then I think I have to wrap it up.
All right, it seems like this is a classic tipping point scenario where you can get enough people in a concentrated area where everybody else sees what's going on and then says, I want to join on that bandwagon. Have you put thoughts around how you can create a tipping point in each city?
Honestly, not really. I mean, that's obviously something that we try to plan forward to, but we haven't really. I think this is kind of where something I definitely need to think about. Yes.
Last question: what can we do as one million contributor for you?
What I need is just ideas. I love this. When you talk about the tipping point, you talk about different revenues and sales and things. Any ideas that you have to keep it so that people don't come and steal the idea. Because I'm always open to ideas. I just love learning, and I'm just kind of in this learning, and it's been a great experience. So any feedback I really appreciate, and I take it, and I love it. Thank you.
Just by show of hands, BYU fans. All right. Oh, check that out. All right. So, how many of you guys would or know somebody who might be willing to do something like that in Utah? Oh, you got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 customers potentially here. Just tell them they're not loyal and then sell to them. It seems that's a good strategy. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and have Sir Wylde come up next. It's an update. Cool company doing some cool things here. I'll let them explain who they are and what they do. And then last company since I'm hosting, I'm actually going to show one of my products today, guys. So I'm excited to show you guys. But Sir Wylde. So here we go.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Ben. I am a student at BYU. I'm a senior. I study PR and winery and business. So I was here maybe 4 months ago, just a few months after I launched with Sir Wylde. I'm not a huge PowerPoint person, so I'm just going to walk you through what we're doing. But as an update, last time I was in here, I was making all the products by hand. The idea is I served a mission in England. That's when I initially got the inspiration. I love European fashion. And then I thought, why not do it in America? Since then, we've formed more into purely a passion American brand where we make all of our products here. Last time I launched, we were making them all by hand. It was just neckties at the time. I actually taught myself how to sew on a little sewing machine, and I had 3 seamstresses working for me. We launched on October 21st. We sold out by Christmas, and I thought, okay, there's some merit to this. Let's roll with it. I love building a brand. So on January 21st, we launched a Kickstarter. We had a little Kickstarter launch party in this building, and we raised $10K. So our goal was 4,200. Why 4,200 is because needed in order to transition our manufacturing to New York. Making it by hand, if I said this last time I was in here, but if Nordstrom approached us and said, hey, we love your products, let's put you in the store, we'd say, well, we can get it to you in 30 years at the rate that we're making them. So in New York, we found a manufacturer after a lot of searching where we can do it in 3 to 4 weeks. So they're willing to work with their minimums, which are quite small at where we are. So we raised the 10K. That ended, at the end of February. And since then, we've been in that interesting transition phase of setting up our infrastructure where we can really blow it up, scale, and grow. When I say that, that's setting up manufacturing. That hasn't been easy. It's been a big learning curve, but we put in the hours and we learned that process. We now have 2 factories in New York, one to make our neckties and one to make our bow ties and pocket squares. They're great factories, great quality. I've been over there and visited them. We have fulfilled half of our Kickstarter, and we'll get the rest of the inventory today or tomorrow, and we'll be able to fulfill it then. A few other things we're doing is we're working into a few other products. Here, I'll show you our neckwear real quick. I sell for 68. I sell for 62. We have been working on suspenders as well, leather suspenders, handcrafted in Boston. We have some cool t-shirts we're coming out with, pocket squares, like I said, and then hats. There's a hat maker in Springville, Utah, actually. It's Tat and Barrett Hatters, and we've been partnering with them for some hats. Make some notes here. About manufacturing, partner up with Team White and Blue. That organization proceeds out. Sales haven't been exactly where I would want them to be. We've been over 20K since before. inventory, I think we'll see really boom. Some of the things that we're doing and where we're going, the new products coming out with a specialty line in the next month of neckwear, bow ties, pocket squares with vintage fabrics, all resourced in America, all handmade in America. We're really excited about that. We're doing a bunch of Renegade sales in San Francisco, Seattle, and Portland. They're just similar to the Beehive Bazaar, but a much larger scale where maybe 10,000 people attend the show in one weekend. I believe we'll be able to do $5,000 to $6,000 in sales every single one of those weekends. And I've seen that. For example, we did a small show at a country club here in Provo, and we did $1,000 in sales in 3 hours. People love our product. We want to get it in front of people. When they feel it, they'll notice a difference and they pay for it. We're doing a lot of trunk shows as well, setting up in the corner of stores that already exist, saying, hey, let us come in, show our product, let us demonstrate how people love our product. We'll do that for one weekend, and then we'll get into the store afterwards. So yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. We've had a lot of great PR stuff. Hey, by the way, join the club, the email list, it's up there for you. We've had some cool PR stuff though. The NFL has picked up a bunch of our ties. We're actually getting featured in British GQ next month. Esquire magazine reached out to us this week. PR is my specialty, so I'm emailing like crazy, calling like crazy, and we're developing really good lasting relationships. So that's sort of wild. That's where we're at. I have a package up here afterwards if you want to come up and open it up. We have some suspenders and some products in here to give you the unpackaging experience. But that's something we've been thinking about, is from start to finish with our customer. We love them. We care about them. We care about every single detail on our website, every single detail on our product, and our packaging, in our story. We love that we're American made, and we love that we give back. And so that's what we're doing here. So wow. Yeah, in the back. Yeah, just to go back to the emailing, man, I think that's a lot of it. And I think it's not just sending out a scripted pitch. They get a ton of those, right? But doing unique things, sometimes sending them a very personalized package with what we're doing, with every package has a handwritten note, inserts, sending it to an influencer, sending it to someone from the PR industry. And I'd say it just takes work. I'm always following up with contacts. If I get a contact, a friend, I don't just, connect on LinkedIn and that's it, but I follow up every month and I try to build that relationship. So, yeah.
How about using like mass drop? Mass drop is the kind of campaigns where it's like, if everyone the price drops, it's like 3 price breaks, but the price drops. So like, for instance, like a company I work with here in Provo, they came out, they just sold like 80 bags for doing a lot of that, and their bags are $3 a piece. That might be something you want to look into. They have about 2 million users.
Okay, is that a platform? Mass
yeah,
drop?
It's kind of like Kickstarter, but it's like wholesaling a product.
Oh, cool.
To buy it more with discount than you get.
Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll look into that for sure. Something we are doing. So, for example, our tie 68 full price. We recently, just this week, have been working on a subscription service, a month box where you get a new piece of neckwear every month, or a new hat every month, along with like a lapel pin or a pocket square. And that deal we're running is $50 a tie, or $140 for a hat. So really, it's a great deal compared to the full price. And then as well for weddings, we do 30 to 35% off, and then we have our wholesale rate, obviously.
Exactly is your target audience for like your subscription model, and then I guess my initial thought is I wear a lot of ties, but I would never pay that for it because I can afford $600 a year for ties.
Yeah. So you might not be our market, right? We sell to a 24-year-old to maybe young 50s, someone who's a little bit more hip, who believes in American-made product. Typically, they live in larger cities, right? So Portland. Here in Utah, I know we wear ties every week, but when we hear $68 for a tie, we're like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, right? When I initially heard it, I was like, wow, that's a lot. If you look into the industry for an American-made neckwear product, 68 is just below average. Why we priced it just below average is because we're here in Provo. and we want to make those initial sales as well as sell to the big cities. Yeah, I mean, 68 people don't shy away from that at all if we're reaching our actual market.
And they will buy 12 ties a year at that price point. You validated and verified that.
The service is actually up there for a day. We'll see where it goes. And I think that over time, that will more. That hasn't been our focus.
You're doing some you're in some stores, you're doing digital sales.
Right.
What percentage of physical store versus digital now, and what's your goal in, say, 3 years?
Good question. We're only in 4 stores right now, pretty small. A lot of that's just because we haven't had inventory. And we get them a handmade sample from local. We've been doing a lot of custom wedding. On our line sheet, for example, we say we can't deliver till the end of May. So as a store, so we'll see where that goes. Right now, it's probably 95% online. I would like it to stay maybe 60%, 40%. I'm sure we're going to be stopping by a lot of stores and doing a lot of trunk shows, trying to get in. So. Yeah.
So we thought about partnering with other box services, like for box and things on
Yeah, it's a great one. We have. We've emailed them and a lot of other subscription box services. Like you said, it's a little higher price than most products in that box. Huge difference from making in America and making overseas, right? It's at least 3 or 4 times more expensive making in America. We believe it's worth it for our brand. But down the road, yeah, I mean, if we can partner with something like that, it'd be great. Yeah.
Did you ever set up for like a sub-brand overseas for about a while? That's something else.
That's another great question. Loads of brands are doing that. You know, when you go and say, just for example, when you go into Nordstrom Rack and you buy something, that's not the same stuff that they carry in Nordstrom, although we think it is. It's a different brand. You know, Tommy Hilfiger has, you know, their gold, their platinum, their silver, their $20 shirt, their $70 shirt, their $400 shirt. So definitely, as we grow though, everything online, we want to be our premium American-made stuff, and then we'll see where it goes. And it will take much more money to expand it to that level. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to get back in here because so I'd love to, you know, get to know what you guys are doing, and I'd appreciate it if you can help, you know, just spread the word, give me feedback. We just opened an office on Center Street, actually, above Grooves, so come stop by and, you know, let us know how we're doing. So I'm around. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Very cool. Really quick announcement. Show of hands, who's familiar with Operation Underground Railroad? Very cool. I'm gonna have, just real quick, come on up, one announcement. They're doing an event and here in Provo as well.
So how many of you have heard of the Abolitionist movie? Raise your hand. Okay, so at Operation Underground Railroad, they had a film crew go along with them a while ago, and they took footage and they made it into a movie. It's the abolitionistmovie.com. You can go and look at it. Next Monday night, there are 5 theaters down at the Provo Town Center. Those of you who know Nicole Shea, she's with Big Network. She is hoping to get people to come down to fill it up. There's a University Mall. There's the Geneva Theaters, Geneva Road Theaters, Thanksgiving Point, and American Fork. The goal is on May 16th to fill out as many people as possible at the movies so that they can go nationwide. So this is all about rescuing 2 million people that are trafficked, either in sex slavery or work or harvesting. I saw the movie. It's absolutely incredible. It's inspiring. If you think that you may be a little bit squeamish, it's not. It's humbling, it's inspirational, and it's very informative. And it gets the word out there as to what is happening. So Monday night, May 16th, 5 theaters in Utah County. Go out and see it. Proceeds go to help OUR Rescue, Operation Underground Rescue. And if there's enough traction, it can go nationwide. Support.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Go check it out. Support what they're doing. Crazy cool stuff. So one more announcement before we get started. Shout out again to our breakfast sponsor. Round of applause. Okay, so if you have an idea or if you started down the path and maybe your developer wasn't good, we need a good developer, they're a great group to work with. So you can connect with them. They will actually be here presenting next week as well. And right here, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Do cool stuff. All right, so I'm going to plug, and I apologize, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. So Chris Padilla, 2011, I partnered with 2 Israelis out of New York and a tech incubator. We build technology. Typically, we kind of get ideas from partnerships in the world. So is a partnership that we had with Hasbro. We would actually build ways for their toys to connect with apps. First project we worked on was a way to connect like the Nerf basketball hoop to an app, so you could like keep score, share videos. Let's say like you hang up the basketball hoop in your room and you take a sweet shot. And you're like, oh, that was amazing. But you video it through the app and you'll be able to share it. So we partnered with a group, Get It Games. My business partner, Ito, was able to bring in a cool partner, and I'm going to show you the commercial. And then we'll talk some more. Hold on a second. Anders, how do we do this? 3.
Your room, it's your court, it's your sport, it's D-Wade's game.
Game 1, boys.
Now you can play basketball anywhere and record highlights to share with D-Wade's Get a Hoops game. The awesome new hoop with its own app that records, keeps score, plus a whole lot more. Get a Hoops turns your room into the ultimate basketball court. Just set up the hoop and set up your smart device. Call it, ball it, and let the app record it all. Off the wall. D-Wade. You can play Get a Hoops solo, one-on-one, full court with friends and family, or play arcade style against the clock and see how many shots you can pop. Only D-Wade's Get a Hoops does that. Oh yeah. The backboard is official grade for real rebound action.
All right, you get the idea. We can keep going. So the partnership, what they bring to the technology is they run ads, they help with distribution to Walmart, like that. What we're doing right now is they're running tests in the nation, and they're trying with people with a website. Based on how sales go through the ads, they give us more advertising at the end of the year. So I brought some money. So anyone who buys today, we will pay them back. So if you guys want to go online, pay a whole bunch of cash for you guys. If you want to buy it, I will pay you back. But just email me or show me the receipt here if you want. I'll give you the money if you want to buy it. But it's a cool product. It's in one of the few. We're actually launching a goal in three months. So it's got a sensor in the soccer ball and a sensor in the actual goal that you're kicking at. And on the iPad or the phone, you can pick which part of the goal they're going to try and kick at. So you can see if you saved it or not. And we brought in another cool partner. Right. I can't tell you who it is right now because he hasn't signed yet. We're still negotiating. But and as it ends with O, and you play soccer. So that's what we're doing. Questions, I guess, if you guys want to ask questions, open it up for the last few minutes. Questions on get it hoops, get it games. Online, so getithoops.com. So you go to, it's actually the video that I showed you on the website. So D-Wade's Get Hoops. His goal and our goal with all this, like the kind of the greater good behind it, is kids with action. So like they're used to their phones, and you'll see they're like plugged into their phones, touching screens all day. And so the idea that this is a way to kind of help them be active at home as well. Get out, you know, they can still connect back to the so keep track on the app. So, you know, competitive arena. So if you want to do that, if you have kids, that's.
So I didn't understand your offer. How much does it cost? How much are you
The offer is reason why I'm because we get period to get average offer is pay for $20 for like basic D-Wade basketball, and then Wade, I won't pay for that. You can pay for that, but there's options as you to do those. So get a hoops on the website that I'm at right there. Just buy it there. I'll read Chris Tom's my cool products in different sports. So basketball, golf, got another golf lined up with last name rhymes with cool. Any more questions?
Like working D-Wade, is it different with every one of them?
It's actually one of them. So when we were working on a publish that was like a way for like now inches maybe that are seats people, they had smart people around them. You gotta get through those people. And like for a product like this,